Hello everybody and welcome back to Dark Souls Remastered. Last episode we killed Calamite along with making our way to the Manus boss fog. I need to remember to use humanity super quick to revert to my human form before I forget. This episode is going to be the last episode in the series. We're going to be killing Manus, Father of the Abyss, along with killing the endgame boss, Gwyn. So if you've missed anything up until this point, if there are any episodes you've skipped that you want to go back and watch before you see the ending, I highly recommend that you go do that. So really quickly, before we go into Manus, it was either the last episode or the episode before, I showed how to get this item called the Silver Pendant. Now the Silver Pendant is a crucial item in Manus' fight. The reason that I say this, let me get into a little bit of a wider area. So its description is Deflects Dark, so when you use it, you can spam the hell out of this with no sort of repercussion. It destroys all sorts of dark sorcery around it, so kind of like those caster bloat heads earlier in the Ulasil Township level, or even later, that are prevalent throughout the Ulasil Township level. Now, Manus has a few, now that I say a few, I think it's only one or two spellcaster attacks, but holy shit are they dangerous. This thing is absolutely crucial to surviving Manus' fight, and also the reason that I reverted to human form is that we're going to have a familiar friend helping us on the way. So we're going to go ahead and run past the vast majority of these enemies here. We need to go here, down. There's a little bit more that I can explore in the Abyss here, I just don't really want to. Come up here. We're going to avoid as much of this humanity as I can, just because they're extremely hard to get around and deal with. One thing I should mention, the humanity, if you couldn't tell, they drop humanity. It's a very good humanity farming spot. Granted, it's much later in the game, but if you're coming at this from like New Game Plus, or you really want to get that Sif cutscene, then this is a very good place to farm humanity. Also, don't forget to pick up those twin humanities that I just had there. Now, I believe you just want to walk down this rather than dropping. I know there's a spot you can get away with dropping down here, but you usually don't want to do it. I don't really know if I'm going the right way, if I'm being honest. And Manus is one of those bosses that you want to come in with at least, like, probably minimum 15 heals. If you're good at the game, you can probably do it with 5, or obviously if you're good at the game, you can do it with none. But I would highly recommend bringing quite a few into here. You're also going to want a pretty solid shield. Here we go. So immediately off to our left here, we're going to have a summon sign for Sif, which we are going to summon, just because having a summon for this fight is very nice. And I'm trying to do all the quest lines, and this kind of counts as a quest line. He looks so cool. So right off to the left, summon Phantom. Now, he has a lot of very hard-hitting attacks that we are going to want to block and roll around. That being one of them. Probably get some magic out while he's pissed at Sif. Ooh, I missed that block timing. I'm kind of sucking right now. I don't have any warm-up, I should mention that. I just dropped into probably the second hardest boss in the game with no prior warm-up. Oh. I think it goes without saying that attack hurts. Don't get caught in it. Okay, I think we die here. We did not die. Alright, fuck him up, Sif. Now, Sif is actually a super agile summon. He doesn't deal a lot of damage, but he does have a pretty good amount of health. Ow. Oh god. I missed all of those. Spam it, spam it, spam it. Just get rid of as many as you can. Ow. Also, don't underestimate that combo's range. It will kind of sauce on you. Get him, Sif. Fuck him up. Okay, that's most certainly not what I meant to do. Comes again. Spam it. Usually you only need to press it twice. I don't mean to keep healing. I'm trying to use my spells. Sif, come on, buddy. I need your help. I got some of those, but not nearly as many as I would have liked to. Ow. Where the hell did Sif go? There he is. He only hit me with 2 of those. Correction, 3 of those. Heal. We're gonna first try Manus, it looks like. First try Manus, hell yeah. Considering I just logged onto the game, I am very happy with the first try Manus. Good boy, Sif. Good job, brother. Now, like I said, if you go through and you do all of that before you even fight Sif, you'll get a special cutscene. It's cool. It's a very heartfelt cutscene, but good God, is it not easy to get. So here we have Princess Dusk, who we're gonna kind of leave be because she has been abused by Manus. So we're just gonna leave her be. I think we can go back and talk to Elizabeth. But no, I'm pretty sure she has some special dialogue for us, if I remember correctly.
I have awaited thee. Thou hast rescued Princess Dusk and rid us of that terrible primeval human, even halting the spread of the abyss. I salute the grandeur of thine enterprise. Please allow me to express my gratitude. I thank thee, as do we all.
And she gives us Elizabeth's mushrooms. Now, these are an interesting item because in Dark Souls 1, there aren't too many healing items other than your Estus Flask. I think there's a total of like maybe 4 or 5 Divine Blessings you can get, which are another healing item. But otherwise there's nothing other than these Elizabeth's mushrooms. And they're actually a pretty solid healing item, if I remember correctly. So after doing this, she doesn't sell anything new.
I will remember thee, but I will keep thy story to myself. This is the best way, for thou art come from a time far ahead. No one will sing thy praises, but yet thy greatness shall live on, for it shall be my purpose to remember all thou hast done for us.
Anything else?
Was
Nope.
thine eye glancing hither? Thou needst not hide thy wonder. I am a mushroom, after all.
Okay.
May the flames guide thee.
So, now something that happens here, like she said, nobody knows this is us that did this, except possibly Chester and her, because the inhabitants of Ulysses are basically dead. Not all of them, but they're relatively dead. We are gonna warp back to Firelink Shrine really quick. So everything that we did here is attributed to Great Knight Artorias. In the future games, we know it was us, but the world doesn't, if that makes sense. So we are never really given credit for what we did here. Now, Manus, his soul can be used for, I believe it's a catalyst. And if I remember correctly, it's the best catalyst in the game. There isn't really a whole lot of lore on where Manus necessarily came from. All we know is that he was a very bad man, and he was buried, and that the Divine Serpents tricked the inhabitants of Illusil into digging him up, which was obviously very, very mean. So, we are going to... I have I have everything leveled up to I want to. If I wanted to, I could put another level into my Pyromancy Flame, along with 2 more levels into my Black Knight Shield. I'm not super worried about that. I'm also going to put on the Ring of Steel Protection. I don't know if I showed off the Calamity Ring last episode that we got from Calamite. All it does is makes you take double damage. So if you're one of those masochists in the series, you can go ahead and use that. I'm not going to, because I'm not crazy. So with these last levels, we're going to put them into strength. We're going to repair our equipment. And now, we are going to go... I'm going to put my normal helmet back on here. The only reason I had the Black Knight helmet on, and that's actually an item you pick up in the endgame area. When I was farming, I wasn't thinking and I picked it up. I'm going to show you where you pick it up at. I did not mean to do that. I apologize.
I am pleased. Is it?
Alright, so
Very well.
We're going to head down
Stay still for a moment.
to the Lord Vessel and beat the game. This is going to be a shorter episode. You can probably tell by this timestamp on it. If I was to guess, maybe 20, 25 minutes or so. Gwyn isn't a super long fight. It's weird. I've beaten this game a handful of times, but I don't know. playing this on YouTube for people to watch and view, it feels different, you know? It feels good to be able to share my passion of Dark Souls, which sounds... I know how it sounds. Can I feed you items while you're down here? I can. So,
Farewell, chosen undead. I remain here and await thee.
now, there are a few other side areas that I didn't explore, for example, like the Great Hollow and everything like that. I just didn't really see the need to in this playthrough. That's something that I think that, honestly, you benefit more from finding on your own, let alone experiencing on your own. So, these guys here, these are souls of Black Knights. We don't, and Black Knights / Silver Knights, they don't attack you. And, yeah, here we are. Killing of the first flame, baby. Oh, it feels good. So, this is a short area just because it's right to the endgame boss. The boss is in there if you if you couldn't tell. All of the enemies in this area are parryable. They have basically the same movesets as Silver Knights. They are Black Knights. We fought a few of them, but now they're like the normal enemy of this area here. But as you can see, they are not hard to parry at all. And we actually deal pretty good parry damage. Now, this first one here has a 100% drop rate on a Titanite chunk. This one here has a 100% drop rate on red Titanite chunk. The one after him has a 100% drop rate on Titanite chunk again. The one after him, I believe, is 100% on white Titanite. And the one after him, I believe, is 100% on blue Titanite. Ooh, we missed that. Yikes. Eat that, bitch. Now, Gwyn is a very hard boss to do if you don't have parrying figured out. Oh, he dropped his greatsword. The Black Knight greatsword is actually a very, very good weapon. Yeah, as you can see, it's a level 1, it deals 220 damage. Our maxed weapon hardly deals more than that. But yeah, Gwyn's attacks are very hard to deal with if you don't parry. So I would highly, highly recommend parrying. Also, you might notice that I'm in human form. That is because first, I didn't die when fighting Manus, and second, we want to summon Solaire here, because this is sort of the conclusion to Solaire's questline. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, I just had one of the worst coughing fits that I've ever had. I legitimately have tears rolling down my face. Not because I'm crying, but just of how violent that was. So we have another one here. He drops Titanite chunks, like I said. He's also going to be dropping his head, because we're going to fucking kill him. Yeah. These guys aren't hard to deal with. Like, yep, 100% Titanite chunk. Now, that Black Knight armor set that I was talking about, it spawns, I believe it's right here. It's on this general pillar area. And it's not a bad armor set, if I'm being honest. It's not the best one you'll pick up, but it's not bad by any means. So, moment of truth, if we've done everything right, Solaire's summon sign will be up here. Hell yeah. Knight Solaire, we made it to the end, brother. We did it. Come on, buddy. Let's go fuck him up. Now we can kind of get a sneak peek at Gwyn through here. He's standing right there. I'll point an arrow at him for a few seconds. You can't get too good of a look at him, but you can get a general idea. Maybe you can see him better through here. Yeah. Alright. So now we're going to have an axe variant here. Not all of the axe variant's attacks can be parried. The general rule is thrusting and horizontal sweeping attacks can be parried. That is my general rule. So he has a few like underhand sweeps that go like over his head. He dropped his great axe. That's a very good weapon. I've gotten 2 of those now. And then down here we have, it's like it's a halberd glaive sort of thing he's got going on. Most of this guy's attacks can be parried, however, he's much easier to just backstab. Parrying him is actually quite difficult, at least in my opinion. It's not... He's the hardest of all of the variants to parry. I guess he isn't really that hard. He's just the hardest of them. And I think he drops the white chunk, right? No, he drops the blue one. Okay. So. Here we are. With our buddy Solaire. Solaire, turn around. Look at the people. We're gonna gulp down an Estus. And to tradition, you better believe it, we've got a Dr. Pepper. That hearty swig goes out to everybody that's been watching this. This series, I don't even have the whole thing up. It's already brought in, I believe it's 170 views. Just the series alone. And it's... The first episode's been out for like a little over 2 weeks. Which is nuts. So to all of you that have been watching this, that have been commenting, sharing it around, liking it, seriously, thank you so, so much. I'm going to touch on this more later. But this fight goes out to you guys. Let's go first, try Gwyn. Okay. There it is. I'm admittedly a little ashamed I didn't get the opening parry on him. That is an iconic attack to parry. Is that jump attack that he does there. It has a massive parry window. Excuse me. And it's very, very iconic to just do a good old whack whack. But I did parry him once. So, with that said, that is the end of Solaire's quest line. And I want to touch on his quest line. Now, if you remember, Solaire said that people's timelines kind of converge. In Solaire's world, he is us. Solaire has his own quest to go out and restore his world's order and quote-unquote search for his sunlight. That's his ultimate goal. So, in a sense, we helped Solaire complete his mission as much as he's helped us complete ours. His Centipede Demon fight was our Centipede Demon fight, and our Centipede Demon fight was his. The same as every other boss we went through that he also went through. Every tribulation and triumph, he went through just the same as we did. It's just that maybe the motive was a little bit different. Maybe his backstory is a little bit different. The build is different, you know. And I think that's something that's really interesting about Dark Souls, is because the way they have the alternate realities set up, every single player's playthrough is canon, which is so interesting to me. But with my blabbering out of the way, let's take a second to look at this place. Now, the boss arena is actually really big. We just kind of confined him to this. I also muted for the boss fight just because I didn't want to ruin any of that. That's what those 2 clicks were with my mic, muting and unmuting. Like I said, it's a very big boss arena. You don't, sadly, you don't really use too much of it, as Gwyn is an easy boss once you know how to parry, and even easier with Solaire. But I will warn you, if you do not use a shield, you do not know how to parry, it's hard. It is not an easy boss by any means. So now, another thing, be careful with this fight. Don't get caught in nooks and crannies like this here. Try to fight him at the doorway, and if you have to, push him to the center here. But don't get caught on shit, because one, you'll be dinging off walls like that. He can catch you with your back to it. It's a tricky fight. I made it look very easy, as I've made a handful of the fights in this look very easy, that they're not easy. You have to remember, I've played through this before. It's the same with the rest of the Souls series. But, my blabbering out of the way. Let's go ahead and link the fire. Yet again, I'm going to mute. Oh boy. Trophy earned. Link the fire. And everybody, there you have it. Dark Souls Remastered. This game, I'm going to hit you with a sort of review. I'm going to go ahead and let these credits play. To summarize this, I love Dark Souls. I love the entire series. I love Souls-likes. It's my favorite genre of game. I remember first picking up Dark Souls 3, and I tried playing it like 4 or 5 times, and I was like, what is people's fascination with this series? I don't understand it. I don't like it. It's too hard. But then I watched this guy named Iron Pineapple on YouTube, and he's just gushing over this game. And I'm watching him play, and I'm like, this looks so fun. And I'm watching all these other people play, and it's like, this just looks great. Why can't I enjoy it? And I sat down, and I picked up the controller again, and I pushed myself through it, through hundreds of deaths. I was horrible. And I wish I had recorded that first playthrough just to see how far I've come, because now I can do Dark Souls 3 deathless like it's nothing if I want to. But, in short, sorry I burped there, it's incredibly unprofessional. This series has changed me as a person, and I know this is getting gushy and I'm not really reviewing the game, but more so its effects on me. If there's one thing this game has taught me, it's to shut the fuck up and try again. Before playing Dark Souls, I had a completely different mindset where if something wasn't working, I'd just throw the towel in. I'd just kind of let it be, just let it fester. But you can't do that in Dark Souls, and it's something that teaches you is no matter what is wrong, if you keep going through trial and error and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, take a new angle, try a new strategy, keep pursuing what needs to be done, it will happen. Which has genuinely changed my mindset in the way that I approach things as a functioning human being now, which I cannot glaze this game series enough, because it just means that much to me as to how I've developed as a person. And I know that might sound goofy to some people, like, it's a game, dude, what are you talking about? It can't really affect you that much. You have to play it to understand it. And with that said, let's get into actually what I think about Dark Souls 1, or Dark Souls 1 Remastered, I guess. This game is not perfect. It has its kinks. There are parts of this game I don't enjoy, and that's just the truth. It's clunky. It's an old game. It could use some graphical updates. Sometimes it doesn't play the best. I, for one, don't think the bosses are actually all that great either. I think that the best bosses, when compared to the rest in the series, are mid. Like, they're mid at best most of the time. I'd say the only bosses in here that are legitimately very, very good, Ornstein and Smell, Great Knight Artorias, and Manus. I think those are the only fights in this game that are legitimately notably good. The rest of them are they're kind of eh. you know? And they really paved the way for the bosses that would come. I think it's fine that the bosses in this aren't the best. I think that some of the areas sometimes are a little bit annoying with how much can go wrong. Like, for example, I don't like the idea of having to have an item or a certain weapon to go and like kill all the ghosts in New Londo.
Yes, indeed.
We've already listened to this. It's something I'm not the biggest fan of. It's like I said, this game is not perfect, but with that said, it is still a very, 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 very good game, and I think that while this might not be the first Souls-like you should play, I think it's a very important one to play just to realize where the series quote-unquote started. I guess they started at Demon Souls, but Dark Souls is where it really, really, really clicked, where they really showed the potential they had. And don't get me wrong, Demon Souls is an all-right game. It defined the genre, it set it up. But this took Demon Souls and it made it so much better, and it refined what was wrong with it. And it does it very, very well. So, with that said, Dark Souls Remastered, it's not perfect, but it's such an iconic game, and it still holds up pretty well. It has so many good qualities as far as the combat, the level design. Most of the enemy design is pretty good. The lore, the world building is very, 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 very good. It's such an enticing story, but it has its shortcomings. There are a few bosses that are subpar. There are a few areas that make me pull my hair out a little bit. But what would the Souls-like genre be without you saying a few times, "Ah, what the fuck?" you know, it's gonna happen. So, my final rating for Dark Souls Remastered is going to come in at probably an 8 or so out of 10. We're running at 34 minutes right now. I'm really quickly going to run to the Stray Demon just to prove a point, more than anything, to show how far we've come as far as stats go. This is something I do after every new playthrough, is I just go and I kill the Abyss Demon. Or, not the Abyss Demon, the Asylum Demon. Because why not? I think we're gonna get the plunging attack on him too. So you guys have already seen this. I'm just going to go ahead and skip forward to the Asylum Demon fight. So I will see you guys in a minute. Okay, here we are at the Asylum Demon. Now the only reason I'm doing the plunging attack is just because I want to see how much damage it's going to do. Alright, you fat ugly bitch. That's like... that's absurd damage. Oh man, that was goofy. That was fun. That was fun and goofy. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and continue on to the next area. Now, New Game Plus, one thing I want to mention is that in New Game Plus, you will gain, or the enemies rather, sorry, will gain, I believe it's a 10% increase to health and damage, which at the end of the day doesn't end up being that much. So, with that said, the same as our journey started here, our journey ends here. So thank everybody, you sitting behind the screen right now, and everybody else that is sitting behind their screens right now, so much for spending your time here with me in Dark Souls Remastered. The next game I'm going to be playing through is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. I know I mentioned that I wanted to do either Lies of P or Dark Souls 2, but I think that I want to shake it up just a little bit. We're going to play through Sekiro because I've never played through Sekiro before. It's the only FromSoft game, I shouldn't say it's the only FromSoft game, actually. I haven't played through any of the Armored Core games, and I haven't done, like, King's Field or any of that stuff. It's the only real Souls-like of the series that I have not played yet and beaten. And I'm going to be doing it 100% blind, so if that's something you're interested in seeing, that's going to be up within probably this week, because as of recording this episode, it is Thursday, December 28th. So this will probably go up the 29th. So you can expect to see Sekiro probably on the 30th or on New Year's. But with that said, once again, thank you so much for sitting here and listening to me blabber and cuss about how much I love this game or how much I hate this game sometimes. But with my blabbering out of the way, thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your year. Or, if you're watching this after the new year, great rest of your day, week, what have you. Peace.